Hello, friends. Welcome to Art with Marsha. If you've ever had the idea that you wanted to be an artist or you wanted to create art of some sort, but you thought, oh, I could never learn to be a professional artist. I'm too old to start something new. Or I'm afraid I'd make too many mistakes, get frustrated, and want to quit. Well, if you've ever felt any of those, then you're at the right channel. This channel is for those of you that want to learn, that want to explore more areas of art, just to see what's out there, even if you're just curious. If you want to have a hobby that doesn't cost a lot of money, it's able to be used by everyone. Even if, for instance, you have arthritis, so it's hard to hold something like a small pencil, then we have bigger markers. If you want to worry about having a jittery hand, that's okay. Watercolor is perfect for that. It's supposed to be non-formed. So there's a lot of things that we can work together to build over the course of this channel. Each month, I'll be focusing on particularly one style of art. For example, next month we will focus on pencil, be it a charcoal pencil, a graphite pencil, or a colored pencil. We'll talk about all of those things and what the differences are. We won't worry about if it's a professional pencil or lower cost pencil. We're going to start with just a regular pencil and a piece of copying paper, or even a piece of notebook paper, whatever you have around. This is an area where you're going to see me as a hobby artist make mistakes. My pictures won't look like the Mona Lisa, but that's because I'm just starting my journey. And as I come through this journey, I want to share it with you. So come with me, learn about Art with Marsha. This channel started in response to a conversation I had with my husband. We're getting a little more over the hill, and as we talk about what we want the back half of our life to be, we both agreed that we wanted calmness and creativity to be part of it. I've always wanted to learn how to draw or paint. I love seeing projects that other people make, and I wanted to be able to make that for myself, for our home, and even for our family and friends as remembrances, or just celebrating the joy with them. So when we started talking about this, my husband decided he wanted to do some hobby farming. So we purchased a piece of land, and in time, we will have goats and chickens on our little hobby farm. We just planted some trees this past week, so it'll slowly be coming together over the next 5 to 7 years before we're planned to retire. When it came to me, though, I was a little more questionable. I wanted to do something that would take up my time. Gardening is, of course, the first thing on my list. But since I can't do that till we get to living on the land, I wanted to come up with some other thing that I could practice now and be better at as I age. That's when I found art. I did not realize how much art there is in the world. I thought it was either crayons or painting. But there's such a broad breadth in both of those areas. So my goal here is that as I learn new things, new ideas, new techniques, different products, different styles, I want to be able to share them with others that might be in my same position, who might have said, I'd like to just paint. I don't need to be the next Mona Lisa, but just to have fun and enjoy. I find that when I'm creating art, it takes my mind off of everything that's going on in life at the time. So it's a great way to relax and restore your soul. When I first started this, I thought I would just be doing colored pencils in adult coloring books. That's where I started. I never thought I could learn to draw. I've never been that creative in my life. But as I've learned and read different books, watched different YouTube videos, I've actually started to learn to be able to draw. And that was surprising for me. And that's when I decided I wanted to make a YouTube channel. I wanted to share my learnings with others. This is a place where you will see imperfect art. I am not a professional artist. I'm not trying to sell my paintings to the local art gallery. I'm doing it for me, to create some calmness in my world, to have a way to escape for a little bit into beautiful coloring and just simple relaxation. And because I'm only learning now about all the different styles of art, I do jump around quite a bit in what I want to work on each time. What I'm going to do for this channel, though, is I'm going to focus a month on a specific topic. That way you can get into the real nuts and bolts of a certain type of art. So those will be my every week videos. Those will be technique videos in a specific type. I also plan to reduce other shorts or reels whenever I'm working on a project, or if I learn a new technique and I just want to share it with you. I'll still be including those things throughout that month. So while, for example, next month, I'll focus on charcoal and graphite drawing, so just basic pens and pencils and basic coloring pencils. Very simple tools. Never am I going to say, oh, you have to have this perfect pencil that costs $100. No, we'll start art with just a number 2 pencil and a piece of copier paper. Because art doesn't have to be inaccessible. It doesn't have to be expensive. It should be fun. You should find the joy in creating things and just creation in general. So I'll be sure to tell you some of the proper tools that they say you should have for the top professional artists out there. I'll be able to share those with you, and I'll show you some different ways of using those different materials. One thing I found is that I am more of a collector than a doer. So when I decided to try drawing with graphite pencils, I bought every type of graphite pencil you could find. Whether it was the student grade, as it's called, the hobby artist level, and even some professional pencils. And I must say, the biggest difference between things is not as much about the medium as it is your paper. And so we'll talk about all those things as we come to it. I plan on my following month getting to some art painting. And depending on what the group wants, we can do different types of paints, or we can focus on one for the entire month. I want this to be a channel that you can use and you can learn all the basic techniques from, so that you don't have to jump around from creator to creator. I will share my favorite creators in each of the areas that we cover for the month. I'll even share some books that I found that have been lifesavers, and they've been really good. Might even share some of the things that you might want to skip to save yourself some money and frustration. And so as we work through this, I'll also be giving you resources. For example, there is a group called Pinners Conference. They are out of Utah. And I will have to put a link in the description for their site. What they are is they're mostly in the Southwest, and they're a 2 to 3 day conference that has all different kinds of vendors, but even more importantly is different types of classes. You pay a very small fee to get entry and to be able to take the classes. They're about an hour-long class, but they are so fun, especially if you've always wanted to try something new. For example, at this last one, I took wool felting. I thought, wow, that's so cool. And it looks great on these pictures. But then when I tried it, and it didn't come as easily as I expected. But I will show you that in one of my videos. So again, welcome to the channel. I hope that you will find a home here and a group of people that want to support you and help you enter the creative stage of your life. Thank you very much.